Okay, I have two mics sitting here. I got one for my laptop, and I got one for my main computer because I'm listening to your video and I'm working on my laptop.
Gotcha. Cool beans. How's it going?
Well, yesterday I didn't do a whole lot with. Well, I didn't do anything with this yesterday. I just had a really busy Monday, um, and then today I had nothing on my schedule, so I have just been diving in.
Cool. Well, I wish I didn't have anything on my schedule. I have been absolutely swamped. Oh my
Well, I'm
gosh.
glad.
It just seems like one thing after another. I had a Zoom call this morning at 8 o'clock, one at 9 o'clock, one at 10 o'clock, one at 11 o'clock, now this one, and then I got one at 3 o'clock.
Okay, well, people
Yeah.
want to know magic.
Yeah. So is there
Yeah.
anything you need help with?
Um, Probably at this point, I don't know what I don't know yet. Um,
Yeah.
so I was looking at ChatGPT, which I'm not like a never been signed on to it guy, but I didn't realize about like I was learning some things. I didn't realize it had all these subsidiary things like making the thumbnails, making the video, all these little extra things you can do. And I've added some stuff to the sidebar. Literally just before we got on the phone, I hadn't done all the prompts you said on there yet. I'm going to, but I said, tell me the top five videos I should make about Northeast Indiana. Concentrate on Columbia City, Warsaw, and Fort Wayne areas. Make the videos ideas about buying homes here and how I, as a realtor, can help them. And 15 seconds, boom,
Yeah.
and they're excellent. Like I would say hours, and like
I know.
yeah,
Yeah, and you can actually, I have actually kind of expanded my whole ChatGPT thought into the fact that now on the side you can create projects where you can keep everything involved on one subject in there, and ChatGPT learns from itself. So it learns the way you talk, the way you um, responses that you like, things of that nature. So,
yeah,
like with mine, I actually have, hold on, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
sure. Yeah, I even noticed that when I was before I already had the paid version before you said to buy it, but I haven't had it very long. But even when I did the free, if I was on my iPhone and I went back to the free thing, I would say, make tell me something, and it would remember my wife's name, that I was a realtor, and it would remember the company I worked for.
Yeah, and I think one of the prompts in there actually um, tells you how to train it. So you can actually train it. This is the web, excuse me, this is the desktop version here. So,
Yeah,
but up in on the actual web version on the web page, up here in the top right hand corner, you can t tell it to customize and you can train it as to who you are, all that kind of good stuff. You can tell it exactly how you want it to act, what your
yes,
roles are.
I went through that. Yes, I went through that part of your video, and so I put things in about me, like I said, warm, inviting, witty, Christian male, 50 some years old, blah, blah, blah. And I even put, raising two teenagers because, maybe I'll say something witty about raising teenagers. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So as you can see over here on the side where it says new project, and then can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay. So where it says new project, but you see right here, I've got YouTube video titles and descriptions. So I keep all of this in one spot so that it learns from itself and it knows the instructions that I gave it. So I gave it a bunch of
Okay.
prompts and told it exactly what I'm going to do on a actually a weekly basis because I'm operating three different channels. So I do this for three different
Sure.
channels out of here.
Yeah. Could you show me two things? Number one, how to
Yeah.
make a folder, and then how to drop a conversation into that folder, because I don't know how to do that.
Okay. So you said how to do what now? The first one?
How to make a folder for the left hand side,
Okay.
um, and then how to drop something that you're working on into that folder once you're done.
Yeah, so like you just create a project, just say you wanted to, you just name that project whatever you want to name it. So
Okay.
like if you wanted to name it YouTube videos or YouTube video titles and descriptions like I have here, once you type that in there, then hit create project, it'll show up on the left-hand side. And then if you're having like a regular chat, just like let's see. Let me see if I can pick one out of here.
You play a little too much with that.
Yeah, you see all this stuff?
You got it bad.
But let's say right here. So like this conversation, moving to Foley. Okay, so I had started this conversation, and if I wanted to move this conversation to let's see, where did I find it? Let me just type something in here so it'll show up. Um, I'm just typing in anything just so it'll do something. Yeah, you're sitting on a gold mine. Yeah. But anyway, so if you wanted to move that conversation over to, say, this folder, over to YouTube titles, then what you would do, I don't know why that conversation didn't show back up, but just say, um, let's see, here, YouTube channel management. So you right click on it right here and say add to project, and I can add it to YouTube titles and videos.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can move any conversation you want to um,
Yeah.
over to that project.
Okay. So since I really don't have a bunch of chats yet, I have some, but I don't have a bunch yet, and I don't have any folders. If I started a new conversation today and I really don't have any folders to put them in, with the conversation up on the right hand side, could I then say new project and then it'll dump that one into that new project automatically? Or how would that?
When you start a new chat, just
Okay.
like if we started a new chat right now,
Yeah.
it's going to go into this section down here, just into new chat section. But
Oh, okay.
but once you do it, then you can right click on it and then say add to project. And if you've created a
Got
project,
it.
you can move everything over into there. The only reason I
Got it.
did that, I started doing that is because it kind of keeps everything in the, like I was just looking for something and I had to search through all that mess. If it's right here and see, like I keep a daily log of a workout routine and what I'm eating and all that other. So and then I've also got myself on a supplement stack. So right here where it says weight loss, see, I have both of those activities in there. So when I come get ready to log today's food, I just come in and click on this conversation and add it. And so it's
Got it.
given me an outline of, my goals. Like I put in my current weight and what I want to weigh and a timeline, and it's given me a project on how to get there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
This thing will literally do anything. I mean, like I
Right.
haven't found much of anything it won't do. And then you also have in the paid version, you have different sections in here where you can choose different models. Like if you were going to do like a deep research on a neighborhood, you could do that in O3 and it'll actually dive a little deeper. There's also another AI tool out there that I use called
I'm sorry. I didn't see where you clicked to get the O3. I'm sorry. I was on the last topic and still.
oh, I'll show you.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
a still.
so
Go ahead.
this is the
Oh,
web,
cool.
this is the actual web version here, not the desktop, which I use the desktop version all the time. But so up here in the top left on the web version, you just
Yeah.
pull this down. You can do O3, O4 mini. These all have different functions. But if you were going to do, say, like a deep research or ask it to do like an in-depth project, then I would choose O3 instead of the 4.0. But this is
Okay.
going to
So
solve pretty much everything you're going to do is going to be in 4.0.
There it is up there. Okay, got it.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought you clicked on tools under Ask Anything. So I'm glad I had you reshow me. Got it.
And if you're like me, sometimes you're sitting around with an idea, but it might be a long idea and you don't want to type a whole bunch. You can just hit the little microphone right here and talk to it and dictate to it and tell it what you're thinking. And then, so I literally have had arguments back and forth with
Uh,
ChatGPT. I'm like, no, no, that's not what I meant at all. And then it comes up and goes, so sorry, Andy, I will correct that right now.
oh, it's so submissive. Okay.
But then you have, like here, you've got tools. You can create an image, search the web, you can write code. And then right here, you run deep research. And that's the one right there that you can do a real deep research. But there's also one called, I think it's called Manus. And right here, this one is a really deep research tool. It's manus.im/app. And you see right here, I was trying to figure out new construction ads on Facebook. And here's the whole project. I mean, it literally, and it'll write it out in a PDF. So then you can take this PDF, download it, put it into ChatGPT and say, based on this strategy, I need you to create me a Facebook ad.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's something else. I mean, but Manus is a little better at doing the deep research projects. So, like this one, I really, so you see the prompt I put in, I said, I want you to act as a real estate marketing strategist. I am a realtor in Baldwin County, Alabama, and I want to generate high quality home buyer leads from Facebook ads for people in my local market who are looking to buy a new construction home based on current market trends, home buyer behavior, and what is working best on Facebook right now. Recommend the single most effective type of ad I should run. And then it usually takes about maybe 15 to 20 minutes for this to perform all this stuff, but it will go through and do a complete deep research.
Wow. Okay.
And it does a
Um,
little bit better than ChatGPT because ChatGPT doesn't really go in that depth. Plus, ChatGPT also takes your thoughts, believe it or not, into consideration because you trained it. So it says, he didn't like this before when I did this, so maybe I shouldn't tell him that. So
last week, Andy yelled at me when I did that.
right. So yeah, literally it acts that way.
That's funny. Okay. Um, so as I'm going through this, this is my training head talking here.
Yeah.
I'm, so the first thing I'm just following the order of your videos.
Yep.
At what point do you think that you for sometimes I just got to get out of the seat and quit listening to information over and over and over, and I just got to go try something. So, at what point can you just go out and try a video and try something that you're wanting to do? And if I did that, um, I guess I don't even know what point I haven't got to the point where you tell me how to record the video. I mean, I know how to record a video, but I'm sure there's some ways that you're going to want us to do it, and so it's good for YouTube. And as far as through what? Is it just through my iPhone or is it through an app or but anyway, at what point can just go out and play a little bit and then come back and learn some more about what I was just doing?
Well, once you have your channel set up,
Okay.
once you have that channel completely set up, and then I would suggest before you actually launch your channel and take it live and say you put videos up, I would suggest you have at least 3 or 4 videos ready to go. Let me tell
Okay.
you, that's just from past experience, and the only reason I even say that is because you once you put a promise out there, like I'll show you what I'm talking about. So like on our let me move this over. Bear with me. I got about 15 windows. I was building a website, so I've got about 15 different windows open at one time.
Oh no, that's not my cup of tea.
Well, you're part of the Freedom team, aren't you? So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually building a website, the Freedom Team website is what I'm building.
Oh,
So you're thinking about moving to the Gulf Shore? All right, so let's see. Let me share this. So this is actually, um, and yeah, you should be able to see now. So this is actually my channel.
yep,
And you see the the banner, really colorful, eye-catching, have the little whole scan me code over here where they can, and what that does is it takes them to my website, call a obaliving.com. And what that website looks like, just so you can see, and you'll eventually get to this part of it. But this is a website where, Google reviews live, whatever, and somebody comes here, a YouTube client, and says, I'd like to buy, I'd like to sell. And then it walks them through basically a questionnaire where they say, I'm buying in 3 months or whatever. Then they give us a price range. And then at the end, they jump into our calendar and they book a call with us. And so that's the majority of our clients. That's how we're getting them is they're jumping in our calendar, booking a call, or either they're just picking up the phone and calling us. Um, but at that point, what I'm saying is like here, it says, new videos every week. So we do one video a week. I was doing two videos a week, but now we've dropped to just one video a week. But if you're going to make that promise, you better be able to fulfill that promise
yeah.
because your loyal customers that are that are on here every week watching your videos will turn on you in a heartbeat if you don't, you know, put the content out there. Um,
Yeah.
so just to show you what I'm talking about as far as getting ahead, so like with ours, we have this will show you a little bit of the back end. You see, I've got one, two, three, four. I've got videos scheduled all the way out to August 3rd. And they're
So you could spend a week working your butt off and be ahead by 6 weeks or 5 weeks
Yeah.
or whatever you do.
Yeah, that's the goal is to get so far ahead and these things are already scheduled to go out. And you can see they have everything in them. They're completely, SEO packed. So the whole 9 yards, I've got, everything in here, how to get in touch with us, all the stuff. So I mean, basically, you just set yourself up for success because if you don't do it, I have been caught with my pants down on this more than once, where I'm
Oh yeah.
like, I usually put a video out every Sunday at 3 o'clock, and it's Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and I don't have a video ready to go. And
Oh
I'm
goodness.
I'm sitting here going, oh my God, what am I going to do? So and I've managed to save myself every time I get it done. But at this pace, where I've got them all good, and I still have two or three videos left to edit and put together and put on the page. So I'll have videos almost for the whole month of August, here in just a couple of days. So
Awesome.
that's what I meant by having three or four in the bank because you want to make sure, because, listen, life happens. You don't ever know when there might be a client who calls you and says, hey, I need to see, 15 different properties over the next 3 days. And you're sitting here going, oh my God, I really need to be editing film. And, I can't now. There's no way I can.
Yeah. Now, do you go into all the detail? Like I'm seeing a lot of big words on your videos, like 100,000 potential and pools, and I'm seeing a lot of big, things that are grabbing my attention. Do you go into how to do all of that as well in the later chapters?
Yes. I
Okay, good.
use ChatGPT for that. So I'll tell you my whole process. So what I do is I basically get a video edited, I get it ready to go, and then I drop it into a program called Descript. And this is all in the training, by the way. So
Okay,
I,
so I'll just listen
yeah, so
then.
I drop it right here into this program called Descript. And I just click on new project. I drop it in there. What Descript does is I'll open this one so you can see is it actually transcribes the entire video. So it puts the whole video to words. Once
Okay.
I get that done, well then I take it and I export right there and I export the transcript. I also export the subtitles so that I can have the subtitles to load up into YouTube. Then I go into ChatGPT and I take that transcript and I come over here to my projects, which is YouTube videos and titles, and then I take and start a new chat, yep, right here, and I just put in my prompts, all that's in the training. So I basically tell it I'm going to upload a transcript to a YouTube video. I don't want you to respond. I just want you to learn. I'll show you like that's not the right one. Let's see right here. This is one for our agent attraction channel. But you can see right here. So the first prompt says, I don't want you to respond, only read and learn. I'm going to provide you with a script for a YouTube video. Here's the script for you to learn. Then I copy and paste that whole script and put it in there, or you can upload it as a PDF, either one. But then
Okay.
once you get it, it says, "Got it. I'm ready for your next instructions." So then I tell it, search the internet, generate me 5 viral-worthy, engaging, and catchy titles for YouTube video based on the provided script. These titles should appeal to viewers' interest in real estate, entice them to watch, and motivate them to reach out for me for their real estate needs. Ensure the titles and design, blah, 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 blah. And then it gives you the 5 viral headlines or titles. Then I say, based on the provided options, analyze and identify which one would be likely to perform the best. Consider specific criteria like audience engagement, SEO performance, click-through rate. Provide a brief explanation for your choice. And then it gives me the one. So, I have it do all my work for me. Then I tell it to write me a 150 to 250 word SEO optimized description for that video. And here it is. It gives it to me.
Wow.
Yep. And
So
then I tell it
you
to
mentioned,
generate me keywords. I got it right here. There's all the
awesome.
keywords. So you can see I literally have ChatGPT do all the work for me. I even get it to lay out the chapters. I also, at the end of this, I get it to write me a blog post, a Facebook post, and a Google My Business post for this video.
Oh
So
gosh.
yeah, so that when it comes time and that video actually posts on YouTube, I can then take all that information and I can post it organically on Facebook. I can post it organically into Google My Business, with every single time with a link going back to my YouTube channel. Because the whole goal is to get people to your YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot of hours ahead of me, which is good. I mean, I'm all good with that because I can see the vision of where we're going. So when you just went through that, the things that you told it to do, is that basically rinse and repeat with every video?
It is. Every single video,
Awesome.
I do the exact same thing. And then, believe it or not, even to this point, we've been doing this for, let me see. Um, let's see if I can pull up some analytics and show you. Let's see. Let's just do all time, lifetime. So you can see I've had 385,500 views. This is the most impressive part is 23, excuse me, 23 and a half thousand watch hours, which is incredible. And then, so this should be, yeah, 3,000 subscribers. And then you've got the content here. Let's see. And then there you go, 4.9% click-through rate. That's a little low for me. That should be in the 5.5% range, but that's also including some of my earlier videos, which were horrible. When I first started, my videos were terrible, terrible.
Oh,
But I will give you a little pro advice as far as
yeah.
when you're first starting out,
Uh
and
huh.
and this is in the training, but the one of the biggest things is you want to be able to so YouTube has an algorithm, of course, like Facebook does and everything else. Well, the way you want to train the YouTube algorithm to notice your channel is, believe it or not, keywords work, SEO works. The title has to be engaging, the thumbnail has to be engaging, But one of the main things is when you're fresh, when you're a brand new channel, in the first 30 seconds of what you say in that video is so important because YouTube analyzes your video and tries to figure out who to put it in front of. So, where did you tell me you were? You're in Indiana. In
Yeah, I'm Northeast Indiana, and I was going to talk to you about that too. But go, I'll let you finish this thought process, and then I'll ask my
Yeah.
question.
So, what's the big city near you? It's
Fort Wayne's the biggest next to me. Warsaw is large, and
okay.
I'm in Columbia City in between the two.
So let's say you went to Fort Wayne and you were doing a neighborhood in Fort Wayne. What I would do is the first thing I would do. Number one, this is so important. You get yourself a selfie stick, use an iPhone or an Android, whichever one you use, and then you want to have that camera, the outside camera. You don't want to do it as a selfie. You want to have the outside camera facing you so that it gives you the wider view. And
Got it?
then you just make sure you look at the camera part because you look like you're looking somebody in the eyes. Also, very important is you want a lapel microphone, a real high quality lapel microphone,
Okay,
because people will watch bad video, but they will not watch bad audio. They
got
will
it.
turn that off in a heartbeat. They're gone. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, you take that thing and turn it towards you, and the very first thing you should say in the wherever you are, let's say you're doing a neighborhood in Fort Wayne, Indiana, you want to say, "So you're thinking about moving to Fort Wayne, Indiana? Well, today in this video, we're gonna talk. You're standing in the neighborhood. You're gonna go. I'm gonna show you the top three houses in this neighborhood and show you that you can afford to live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So let's get to it." And then you have a little intro video that you'll create.
Okay.
And then right after that, I usually do the same thing every time. Right after my intro video, then I'll do a subscribe. Like I'll ask them, I think when we first started our videos, I didn't do that because I didn't feel like I had earned the right to ask them to subscribe. But at this point, with 3,000 subscribers, I've earned the right to ask them. So I always ask, hey, if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, ring that little bell so you can be one of the first ones to learn everything there is to learn about what it's like to live at the beach. The beach life. And then we go from there. So,
Okay.
and then you get into the meat of it. You say, as I said before, we're going to talk about this neighborhood behind me, and I'm going to walk you through three houses today. And then you give them a reason to stick to the end. You say, and you need to stick around to the end because one of these houses has a surprise in it that you're not going to believe. And whatever that is, so you find something that like it may have an
Cliffhanger.
oversized pantry or something that you think is fantastic because that's the reason we bought this house that we live in now, me and my wife. Two things sold us on this house was quartz countertops throughout the house and the walk-in pantry in the kitchen. I mean, it's a huge walk-in pantry. And, I told her, I said, this is the house. This is it, but that's
Yeah.
what sold me on it. So, and you
Yeah.
just never know what the hot button is going to be for somebody who's watching on the other end.
But a cliffhanger that they got to wait on, and which makes them watch longer.
Yeah.
Got it. Love it. So as I'm thinking through this, as far as like what to name this channel and what to concentrate on and all those kinds of things, I was like, do I one do a YouTube channel just for my city and then add other cities separately, or two, do I do Northeast Indiana because we're all quite similar in this area, and I visit different cities all on this Northeast Indiana, which I kind of like that thought process better, but I don't know if I'm going to mess up YouTube by doing that.
No, so the whole general idea behind picking a name is really not as important as it used to be, but you still want to have something that's searchable. So my suggestion would be to have you bought TubeBuddy yet?
I haven't yet. I haven't got there in your series yet.
Well, you can get a 50% discount in the training. There's a link in there. I have an affiliate program with it that'll give you a 50% discount for the year off of TubeBuddy.
So
So
make sure I use your links. And, okay,
yeah,
got
so
it.
just click on that link and it'll take you right there and you get it half off. So the um the thing about it is what you want to do is you want to do and it shows you in the training how to do it, but you want to use TubeBuddy and kind of find the most searched keyword for that area. So, like, I think you're probably, if Fort Wayne is your biggest city nearby, then that's
Hmm.
probably what you want to name your channel. You want to name it like living in Fort Wayne, Indiana, or living in Fort Wayne, IN, or some form or variation of that. Like ours, believe it or not, we tried living in Orange Beach, Alabama, and it didn't have as really all that many searches. But when I put the keywords first, when I put Orange Beach, Alabama living and spelled out Alabama, it came up with like 4 million searches a month, for that keyword. So that's what you
Right.
want, that's what you're looking for is you're looking for that sweet
That
spot
makes
of,
sense.
yeah, of all the
Because I don't
searches.
think, yeah, I'm thinking about the average person, and I don't know that the average person is going to think of Northeast
Right.
Indiana. They're
Yeah.
not going to say that.
Yeah. See, we originally thought, because we don't even refer to Orange Beach, we just refer to it as OBA. So I tried that, but then guess what OBA is affiliated with? Outer Banks. So
Uh,
I'm like, oh my gosh, so I can't do that, because people are going to get confused, you know. So,
yeah.
so that's the reason I spelled it out, and I spelled out Orange Beach, Alabama living, and then the search results were really good. But I mean, it's not something you really just want to overthink. I mean, just kind of name it and kind of rock on, but you do want to find something that's really searched a lot, that has, 4 or 5 million searches, something like that.
Right. That makes sense for sure.
And when I looked up, I actually looked up when I first started this channel, I was like, you know, because my wife and I had talked about moving because she's head of cybersecurity for the Air Force. And so we had talked about maybe we were going to have to relocate. So I started looking at different areas. Well, Dallas was one of the places they gave her as an option to maybe move to. Thank goodness things have changed since then. But anyway, so I looked up Dallas, Texas. I was like, cause I started doing research on, well, what could I name the channel when I got there? Dallas, Texas literally has like 300 million searches a month for people wanting
Wow.
to, yeah. I mean, how crazy is that? I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder, that some of these bigger guys that, like the guy in Houston that has living in Houston, Texas. And I mean, his channel, I think he's got 102,000 subscribers, well, no wonder, because
Yeah.
there's that
Right.
many people searching. But me living in a little old, a vacation spot on the Gulf Coast, I mean, there ain't but 15,000 people that live here, kind of the same situation you're in. So
Right.
I was thinking, you got to pick a bigger place. So I started to name it Mobile because Mobile's 45 minutes from me, or even Pensacola. Pensacola, Florida is a bigger area, but it's only 45 minutes from me. But I'm not licensed in Florida, number one. But anyway, so as we're looking at that, I was like, well, but Orange Beach had enough searches to make sense out of it. So I think going back to your original question, I would name it the channel something big that literally has a lot of searches for a monthly searches, but then I would also you don't have to do separate channels for
Okay.
different places. So like you could name a playlist living in Warsaw or because that's what I have on I'll show you on mine.
Oh, that makes sense because the individual names are searchable too, like
Yeah,
the individual video names.
yeah. So like
Okay.
I'll show you. So like in ours, you can see here, like our playlist. So I have living in Perdido Key, Florida, Daphne, Alabama living, new construction in Foley, new construction Orange Beach Gulf Shores, living in Magnolia Springs, Foley, Alabama living. You get the gist of it. I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm literally, and when I do a video for that area, I just dump it in that playlist.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Well,
Cool. Cool.
hopefully that helps you and you'll get you on the right path.
yeah, just lots of learning ahead. But um, I keep feeling like every time I get an idea, then it pushes back. Like, I mean, for me, it feels like it pushes back going to the closing table because, but it's an investment into getting there a whole bunch more times.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Um, so this week I had a frustrating week because I had my very first person that I was selling to was this business called Moo Over, which is plant-based ice cream.
Okay.
And it was the one where I'm like, okay, babe, let's just take a leap of faith. I've got this first one, and then I'll just build from there, and I'll, whatever. And about a week and a half ago, the buyer, I had both sides, the buyer and the seller. So for my first deal, commercial buyer seller, I'm like, Lord's blessing me, right?
Yeah.
The buyer falls through because they had applied for two different loans, and both the government loan and the regular business type of loan just fell through. And so we went back to market, and literally like Wednesday of this week, my buyer, who's been a friend of mine for a long time, my son did her logo for her business when he was 9 years old. He's a really good artist. And she has his picture right when you first walk in, meet the artist. And so it's part of her story, which people love because it's a little kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's not just somebody I met recently. It's somebody I've known for about 5 or 6 years. But she has this track record of she left Warsaw, Indiana to come to Columbia City, Indiana, and her whole verbiage was, "Those people in that city are just da da da," and just. But I love Columbia City, and they're just so kind. I can't wait to live here, and da 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 da. Well, wait, 5 years later, we're going to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I cannot stand Columbia City and anybody that lives here, and blah blah blah. So she tells me Wednesday that I was the best realtor ever because I had done a video for her that got like 6,000 views, and we started getting some calls again, trying to revive the thing because people are like skeptical after you've been off the market. Now you're back on. Um, and Friday she fires me,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm like, wait, what? And I just had to chalk the whole time. I mean, honestly, there were a few tears because I'm just like, because I haven't been to the closing table. Here's my one, and like, oh my goodness. But I have to tell you, I was able to share that story with my boys because 24 hours later, two more people walked up to me and asked me if I could help them find a place of business that they could buy from me. And I'm like, okay, thanks God for the reminder. And sorry I whined in the meantime.
Right?
But it's such a roller coaster, but you have to let him control the roller coaster and flatten out some of the hills.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So anyway, well, hey, this was. I'm sure this is going to be even more helpful as I get more into it. I mean, I've only spent a couple hours in here so far, so I got a lot to go and a lot to learn. But I assume that we can share screens and stuff like that when I have issues or I can't find something.
Yeah.
I'll just take notes and save it for my Tuesday. And
Yep.
yeah, I'll probably just do that like questions for Tuesday and have myself a little file, and then we can just go over it.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, I appreciate this. I hope you have a good day and you don't get too worn out from all your meetings you got.
Yeah. Hey, before you jump, Tim, this
Yeah.
is Bill. He is in Kathy's downline.
Okay.
And I know you hate that word, but he is in Kathy's
Oh, I
downline.
didn't see
I
somebody else
am
on here.
too.
Hi,
Oh yeah,
Nice to
Tim is
meet you,
too.
sir.
Well, I am too.
guys.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. But anyway, so yeah, he's just getting rolling with his YouTube stuff, and I think he's going to do big things. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's in Indiana, in a little small town in Indiana, but close to Fort Wayne and Warsaw.
Okay. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky half the year and down in Andy's Market in Orange Beach, Gulf Shores, Alabama half the year.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Bill. Well, thank you. Just write down your questions and come back every Tuesday and let me know how I can help.
Okay. Have a good one.
All right,
See ya.
buddy. See you.
Bye.
Nice meeting you, Bill. Thank you.